Did I just do all of that with no? I was just talking to myself here. If I'm live now, will you guys tell me? Or if that was all live, or do I have to repeat all that? Because I'm going to be so annoyed if I have to repeat all that. I think I screwed up. I think I screwed up. Guys, if you're in the chat, can you please tell me if it just went live 30 seconds ago or if you heard everything I just said? That would be wonderful. Oh, I'm so annoyed. I'm so annoyed if I didn't do that right. Oh. I would like to know that. Um, did anyone catch that story or do I have to tell it from scratch? Anyway, okay. I think I have to tell it from scratch. That sucks. So apparently I hit live on the streaming thing, but not live on YouTube itself. Anyways, so it's Sunday. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for working through that little hiccup. That is atrocious that I have to do that again. But yeah, I ran out to get a little bit of coffee and I told you about what's happening. But obviously, I got to retell you. So, the UPS thing. In case that didn't record, which I'm not sure if it did or not. I sold, you guys know I had that Epiphone in for sale. And I put it up for sale and I sold it, obviously. Well, duh. And somebody who watches the channel purchased the guitar. And before they got it, they asked me what the return policy was. And I said, you have 2 weeks. You know, if you don't love it, then, you know, you pay for shipping back. And that's it. You know, wash your hands of it. Because I feel like that's a decent way to do things. And on Friday, I got a notification from UPS in my email saying it's a delivery coming tomorrow, well, it's yesterday, and that it required a signature. So I'm like, okay, well, if I have to run out for a minute and I miss it, they're not just going to leave it at my front door. Yeah, they left it at the front door. And obviously, I never signed for anything. And then when they sent the message to the person who bought the guitar and shipped it that they left the guitar. It said just left it front door when it said in all of the documentation that you had to require a signature for it. And now neither of us have this guitar. And where this is different from the Dove is when I shipped the Dove to myself and UPS lost it, I had it insured for the full value. This guitar is not insured for the full value of what he paid for it. So this could get bad. And I mean, at the end of the day here, it's not a lot of money. I mean, it's a decent amount of money. It's like $500, but it could be a lot worse. However, I don't know how I'm going to rectify the situation because this is totally out of my hands. I didn't do anything. Again, this happens and it's out of my control and it's forcing me now. I've made two decisions going forward when it comes to buying and selling guitars. I've never had a return before. And I also don't typically sell Epiphones or other guitars like that. And I don't think I'm gonna do it anymore. When I get to Japanese stuff, it's so specific, and the people who buy these Japanese instruments, like they know exactly what they're looking for, and I think because of that, I think that's a big contributing reason as to why I've never had a return on any of those stuff. Whereas, you know, sometimes like a guitar that you might be more likely to find at a store or a Guitar Center or anything like that, your chances of being returned are probably higher at that point, just because they're those kinds of guitars. They're not as specific as the rare Japanese ones. But I mean, now, so this guy hasn't insured it for the right amount, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure how this is going to resolve. And knowing you guys, if you followed this channel, you know how long it took me to resolve my gigantic issue with UPS, and it was not a favorable settlement, and that was fully insured. So they're trying to claim to him that it didn't require a signature for delivery, so that their liability is off. But I mean, I sent him screenshots of the emails that they sent me saying that it required a signature for delivery. So I mean, they're at fault here, 100%. It just sucks that, once again, this company can't seem to do anything right. And it's just another headache. Just another headache. And, you know, supposed to be a day with the family. It ended up being a day with me sitting all day for UPS. After we initially started the claim, they said, this is around 3 o'clock, we still would have had time to go to the beach. They said, well, we're going to send the driver back to your house. Just wait. The driver never came back to the house. So I literally waited all day and all night for this guitar to come, and it never did, or the driver to come back. And neither him nor the guitar showed up. So I don't know. So going forward here, and I'm also going to be filming a video about our return policy now, because I'm obviously going to have to update it and just explicitly say you have to insure the guitar for what you bought it for at the bare minimum here. And it's not even just for me, it's for the buyer's protection, because if something goes wrong here, and obviously with UPS, I'm no stranger to things going wrong. I've had a lot of issues with them, but I do a lot of inventory and movement with them. So, I mean, you got to protect yourself. And in this case, I don't know how it's going to work out, but I will keep you guys posted from there. However, how are you all doing on this Sunday? I'm sorry if that repeated itself twice here and kind of stuff like that. Just weird. I thought I hit the live button, and apparently I did not, which is really disappointing. But if you are here, please let me know in the chat. And again, I don't even know if my chat's working right now. It is working. Okay, good. See, and then my chat was coming. Hi, Raph. And Alan and Raph, you guys are here. Yeah, I know it is. And that's the crappy thing, because it's on him. Like, even though he's not the one that delivered the package, I mean, the fact that he didn't insure it, I mean, it sucks and I feel bad, but that's, at the end of the day, I didn't do anything wrong. So, and he's a nice enough guy, and I didn't even put up any sort of resistance when he said he wanted to return the guitar. I was like, all right, whatever. I'm like, just ship it back. Like, I don't care. As long as it comes to me in the condition that I sent it to you in, then that's fine by me. I don't really mind. But it didn't show up. So, I mean, I can't be the judge of that. And I can't refund for somebody for something that was never given back to me. So, yeah, I know they can waste a lot of time doing that. That's what happened with my Dove. That took almost 2 months to have sorted out. And yeah, I mean, it sucks. There's not much I can do here. But I don't know. I didn't want to make a full video just talking about this topic, because I don't know. I did the whole thing with UPS, and it was so bad. I think I made 3 videos about that whole fiasco, including, the one where I actually had the supervisor on the phone, and it was like a 6-minute phone call clip, and them just basically telling me to go screw myself, that they don't care that they lost a $5,000 guitar, and that it was my fault that they lost it. So I know how UPS is. So I'm trying to switch personally to use FedEx more than anything else, because FedEx to me is the most reliable of the two. The post office, forget it. The United States Post Office, they're even worse than UPS as far as losing things and just not being, the best. But other than that, what else did I say I wanted to hit on today real quick? Oh yeah, we have my first gig since I've got out here. My first gig with my wife in about 2 years, because we had a lot of stuff going on, and obviously we had the lockdown on top of that. And then I was just, playing by myself for a while. We were playing with other people when I was going out and playing live. And we're playing for 3 hours. Welcome back to gigging. So we're playing for 3 hours, and our daughter's been sick, so we were supposed to be practicing, and she's been home from school, so we're going to have to cram it here. And it's going to be very interesting how this goes. Granted, it's a no-pressure one. I mean, it's one of those ones you play at a bar from 9 p.m. till 12 at that night. So probably get 2 15-minute breaks in between, and that's pretty much it. However, I'm going to do something I've never done before for a gig. I'm actually going to buy a looper pedal to try and make up for it, because me, I can play, and I can make up stuff as I go along, but for singers, and this is where I really feel for my wife, because, obviously we were taking care of a sick baby, and we got kind of sick on top of it. To get your voice strong enough, you really have to be practicing, and you have to be in decent health, and we haven't had the opportunity to do that. So I think that she'll be able to power through about half of the time, which is going to leave me to kind of fill out the rest. So the easiest way to do that in this scenario is buy a looper pedal and just kind of experiment and, create melodies on top of stuff that way. It's a lot more interesting to a listener to at least have multiple guitar parts going on than just one person kind of jamming out songs or stuff like that. So I'm trying to pick a looper pedal, guys. I don't know. I've never really invested in those before. So I don't know. I would like something that would have more than one space for storage on it. However, I mean, it is what it is, and I'm gonna have to do with whatever is available to me that I can get right now and get used to. Because I've never really gigged with the looper, and it's the one thing now I wish the Quad Cortex had it, and the HX Stomp did. If I still had the HX Stomp, I'd be like, don't worry about it. I'll just gig with that, or maybe that's even the smarter play here. Just rebuy another HX Stomp and then use that for situations where I get stuck in a pinch like this. But I'm not so sure, you guys. I'm not so sure. What do you think? If you guys use looper pedals, do you have any recommendations for me? Do you have anything that you like that's easy, that sounds good? I mean, it's looper pedal as long as it's buffering the signal well. No, the Neural does not have a looper on it. That's one of the only things the thing doesn't have. Does not come with a looper. And I never thought it would be a problem until right now. Kind of sucks. And it was going to be fun too. And it still is going to be fun because I'm actually going to record the whole performance to the MacBook via the Neural DSP. So I'm going to have my wife going in through input 2. And she is going to have her own little two effects. I'm going to give her a reverb and a little bit of a delay, kind of a filter thing on top of that too, which is awesome. And I'll be able to switch that on and off. And then I'm going to have it going direct out to the computer with my guitar signal, and then we can route it out also to the PA system. So it's going to be really interesting. I've never been able to do this before, and I'm really excited for that. And this is a hell of a piece of gear, and I think that the fact that I'm really I'm optimistic in terms of the quality that's going to come out from this live performance. And I'm going to bring 2 cameras with me to try and record it. And obviously I'll have, somewhat pro level audio from the Quad Cortex going right into the computer, capturing this whole live performance. So hopefully we'll be able to get some stuff out of it. I'll be able to make a few videos on it. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I really wish it did come with the looper. Hey, James, thank you. The Ditto. The Ditto might be a good choice because the Ditto, I know for a fact if I drive 20 minutes north, the Guitar Center is going to have a Ditto in stock. Part of me was thinking maybe getting a Volante because that has a looper built into it, and it has a spring reverb, which I actually like the Strymon reverb better than the reverbs on the Neural. And all I pretty much use is the spring. So I was thinking about getting the Volante, but I don't think I'm going to be able to find one locally. I have a MacBook Pro with Pro Tools. All I use Pro Tools. And that's not by choice. That's out of necessity. Because Pro Tools works better on Windows. It's much more reliable, or it works better on Mac than on Windows. And every session I've ever worked on professionally, whenever I go into the studio, it's all based on Pro Tools. And just for format's sake and ease and one less thing to worry about when you're transferring files and sessions, it's just everything's done in Pro Tools. So Chester. But I don't know. And then the other thing is, I'm trying to determine. I'm gonna bring 2 guitars. You always bring 2 guitars to a gig just in case. I'm trying to figure out what 2 I'm gonna bring with me. Part of me knows that the Telecaster is the way to go because it's a Telecaster. But I also, it's so new and I just got it. I almost don't want to bring it out yet. But I think I'm going to bring the Jag and maybe the Gibson, the 339. That way I have a whammy bar or a trim. And then I'll have, a little bit of humbuckers. I can do some good cleans too because nothing we play has any actual gain on it. Maybe a little bit of transparent overdrive, but nothing heavy. So I think those 2 are going to be it. I've been playing the Jag this morning a bit. Through the music, man, that is to die for. I wish that amp wasn't so heavy. It sucks, but I mean, you look at it, the thing is 130 pounds to 2 by 12, and it's 132 watts. And you gotta think, I'm playing with just a singer at a bar. It's a little bit of overkill. So we're gonna go with the Black Star instead. And originally I was like, maybe I'll bring the orange, but then I gotta worry about a head and a cab. No, just do the Black Star, run through the effects loop of that guy with the quad cortex, maybe the Drive Master in front with the gain really dialed back, maybe about 3 o'clock on the, no, maybe about like 9 a.m. rather on the gain, and go from there. But yeah, I think it's gonna be the Jag. I've been really, really, really impressed with that guitar the longer I've had it. I feel like it's a lot more reliable and than the Jazzmaster, which is strange. But yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. But if you guys had to play a gig right now, what would you pick for kind of an all-purpose? It's probably going to be a lot of softer music as far as no gain, a lot of just cleans and a little bit of effects, univibe, tremolo, tiny little bit of delay. So I think that's how we're going to do it. And the Jag is a king for that stuff. But yeah, and the Jaguar tremolo, I like the tremolo on the Mustang a lot, but it doesn't stay in tune as well as the Jag. So I think for a 3-hour set, I'd rather go with the one that I feel a little bit more comfortable with staying in tune, because nobody wants to see somebody tuning their guitar every 3 or 4 songs. Whereas the Mustang, I feel like for a short gig it would be better. No backing tracks. No, everything's gonna be pretty much. It's gonna be all done on the spot, and that was something that I had considered, was loading up some of the Pro Tool sessions I have, and then sending them out to the PA as well. But I feel like it's just one more thing to consider, and we're already kind of crunched for time. I haven't even set up my scenes, because the way I'm going to use the quad cortex is you have stomp mode, you have preset mode, and then you have scene mode. I prefer to use the scene mode for this kind of gig, because then it'll really let me dial in exactly what I want for certain things as far as sections of songs and things like that. So instead of having to, for example, if one section of the song you have delay on, then you have a shimmer reverb and a little bit of boost, and then the other section all you have is a spring reverb. You don't have to worry about hitting 3 pedals to hit all 3 of those at once. With the scene mode, you literally hit one and everything's going to change right there. It's very intuitive, and I like that a lot about this. And obviously this isn't exclusive to quad cortex, but I feel like on this specific device I really enjoy that. I love the Revstars. I have sung my praises of Revstars a few times. I think that they are extremely underrated instruments, and I think that they're instruments that people right now, if you're looking for a guitar and you're looking for an actual value, those smoke Mexican Fenders with build quality, and they're more unique. And like you said, I love P90s. P90s are the best of both worlds. The only problem with P90s is when you're playing live, they're very noisy. They're very, very, very noisy. So if you're not planning on using a gate, but when you use a noise gate, you're kind of like neutering a pickup like that. If you're really going to kill off all the excess 60 cycle or the excess hum and hiss, because a lot of that comes from the high end. So yeah, it looks like, and one of the longest supporter of this channel, his name is Rowan. He's not here right now, but he has been here since I had, I think, 2 subscribers. I think he was one of the first 2 subscribers, and he lives in England as well. So yeah, I guess you Brits like my bluntness, so I'll take that. Americans, they don't like it so much. Americans get offended by everything. I feel like I annoy people sometimes with that aspect of my personality, whereas the Brits, they kind of appreciate that, and that's cool. A lot of people from Germany too. I've noticed the UK and Germany are the 2 places in Europe that I have a lot of people that ask me questions, and a lot of people I interact, and I think that's cool. I don't care where anybody's from. As long as I can understand what language you're typing or speaking to me in, then it's not so bad. But Spanish, no problem. French, real borderline, but I can make it out if I take my time. Italian, same thing. Any Asian language, forget it. You lost me. I know like 6 symbols in kanji for Japanese, but it's not happening. Which is funny because I follow so much. I follow so many Japanese things, but I can't read it. I can understand it when it's spoken, but I can't read it. The Filtertron's awesome. The Filtertron is what I've decided we're going to be putting in that GFS body. So let me go grab that real quick and I'll show you and I'll tell you about the build. All right, so I called my buddy. He's a woodworker. And this is going to take him about 10 minutes. It's not going to be hard at all. We're going to route this. This was the original Telecaster body while we were waiting for the Taos Turquoise to be finished. This body served me well. And, a lot of people say a lot of things about, cheap bodies are no good and, it's garbage. You can never gig with it. The tone is not there. I have done plenty of demos on this channel using this body and the Fralin pickups inside of it. It sounded really good. So, I mean, your mileage may vary, so to speak. But for me, I had no problems with that. So what we're going to do is we're going to route this guy out for Filtertron, for sure. The bridge we're going to leave as is, though. Only because the traditional Telecaster bridge is already mounted in there. And it's already screwed in for it. And due to the fact that I don't want to add any more holes that are unnecessary on this guitar, we're just going to stick with the single coil in the bridge. But I want to do something very different. I'm not sure which single coil I'm going to go for. Because we have the blue specials in the blue one. And since we're going to be doing a Filtertron, probably, not a Filtertron, we're probably going to do a TV Jones 57 Classic. And so for the bridge, I want something a little bit less traditional just because then, it'll be a little bit more different from that guitar. And I'm also going to be putting a Bigsby on this guy. I don't like the Bigsby on Les Paul, but I love the Bigsby. I had a Telecaster with a Bigsby, and I really enjoyed that instrument. So that's what we're going to be doing with this guy. So I'm really excited about that. So, yeah, that's pretty much how we're not going to waste it because this is a perfectly good body. It's got some things on it. It'll be a really good gigging guitar. As I just casually place it onto the hardwood floor. Scotland, man, I've never been around that area. All I know is the football is incredible. I would love to see that live one day. That's unlike anything I've ever seen in Europe. I've been to the Bernabeu in Madrid, and I've been to events in America. And even if you're not familiar with American sports, there's like certain teams that everybody in the world has heard of, like the New York Yankees and the Los Angeles Lakers and stuff like that. Like I've been to those arenas, and obviously the New York Knicks. I used to go to that place, Madison Square Garden. I've seen a lot of good stuff there. I saw Eric Clapton play at Madison Square Garden. That was awesome. Hey James, how's it going? Yeah, I'm talking about the East Coast here, but what I was getting to is you hear about all these legendary venues, and it's been awesome experiences. And Yankee Stadium, the old Yankee Stadium, new Yankee Stadium is a piece of garbage. It's a shopping mall. It's not meant for watching sport. But when I went to Spain and I saw a match there, that it is not even close. That is like the entire city gets together for that, and it becomes like this gigantic event, and you can feel the energy. And it's crazy because it's not like it was a final. If it was a final and you felt that energy, it's one thing. It's like going to a playoff game in America. You expect that. But this was just, I think it was match day 13 in Spain a few years back. Many years back, actually. But yeah, it was an experience I'll never forget. And I've ever since I saw that, I've always wanted to go to all the stadiums across Europe that have that kind of big following and like a loyal fan base, not like, just a lot of outside money funding them. Like I wouldn't want to go to Paris again. I've been to Paris, but I wouldn't want to go see PSG play, for example. That's no real no real motivation for that. But I'd like to see Borussia Dortmund play. I'd like to see Bayern Munich play, and a few places in England. I'd like to go to Old Trafford before they destroy that in Manchester, even though I don't support any of those teams. But yeah, it's a different culture, different environment for sure. I can understand a lot of Japanese. I can speak it on a very basic level, and that's just from uh, dealing with people in Japan and the guitar stuff and stuff like that. So, like, there's certain topics like if I'm talking about guitars, like specific things like Fenders and some of the Les Pauls, I can make it through a conversation. But if you're gonna ask me something like something basic, like a day to day thing, like to brush your teeth or your dentist or something like that, I'd be like, I just look at you like you had 10 heads. So I'm not fluent by any stretch of the imagination of any of those other languages, especially Japanese. No, but I can understand it. I can understand most of it. The Cabronito is my favorite body style aesthetically for a Telecaster. That's why I've had three of them. I've had three of those things, and I've kept none of them. The baritone I sold only because I didn't plan on keeping it. I bought it for this channel to do a demo on it, and I knew I was the first one to do it, and I was. And the American one, I had quality control issues with, and I didn't love it, so I sold that one too. And then the Mexican one was just all issues. That was all issues. The Mexican Cabronita was not a fan whatsoever, and I'm not sure what pickups were in that Mexican one. I think they were, because they're not TV Joneses. They were Fender Blacktop Fidelitrons or Filtertrons, whatever they called them. And they were really good with gain, but clean. They were nothing like TV Jones. They were nothing like TV Jones. So I never really bonded with that guitar because the majority of my playing is clean, especially on Fender guitars. So just I didn't get along with it. Is there anything you guys want to talk about today? I mean, we're having a good conversation about languages and where you guys are all at. That's pretty cool. You guys are all also getting to know each other a little bit. Half Austrian. That's awesome. Yeah, Europe. I feel like Europe is so much cooler than here. That's just me. Going back to, I was talking about Madison Square Garden and seeing Eric Clapton play. Some guy left a comment on one of my videos, and I'm not. I don't know if you guys have seen this on other guitar YouTuber videos or anything like that, but the guy, he left some comment, like it looked like a copy paste thing, and it was like, well, I guess Eric Clapton is super anti whatever, and the guy's like, you need to stand up. All YouTube influencers need to stand up and say all this stuff, and I'm like, no. Like I never want to bring any of that stuff up. I don't want to talk about it. I only talk about it when directly asked, and even then I try and quip that in the butt. But I'm not sure if that was because it just read like such a copy paste thing, and I just wasn't sure if you guys are seeing that on other channels. Yeah, but I didn't respond to it. I'm obviously not gonna do that. I'm a guitar. I play guitars on YouTube. That's what I do. So I'm gonna stick to that. But I have some stuff. Yeah, I have some stuff on my site. I'm gonna be updating all that, and obviously from this weekend we're gonna have a lot of fresh stuff. And I have one album that's in master right now that I finished with my buddy in San Diego. I have all the rough mixes here, but I'm waiting. Well, not the rough mixes. They're the final mix. They're just not mastered. So I'm waiting for the master to get finished, and then that's going to be available. I don't even think we're going to do a charge for that. I think what we're going to do is the smartest thing to do is to go about it. If you're not a big band already, or you're not a well-known band, is you set up a page, whether it's through Bandcamp or your own independent thing, if you have the know-how to do that, and you say, look, here's the download link to this. You can download this album. You can download individual songs. You can preview them. You get like 45 seconds of a song. You can preview it and download it for free. I'm not saying like you're limited as far as that goes, but if it sounds like something you like, you can download it. You can download it for free. Or you could, pay X amount. Whether you want to give somebody $1, or $5 or $10 or whatever. I feel like that's the nicest way to do it. You know, I think that's the best way to go about doing things, because then you're expanding your availability of your music to anybody who wants it. And with this modern day Spotify thing, like I don't like Spotify. I don't like Spotify at all. And I don't use it for my own listening, and I don't know. I think it's going to be out of necessity for a few projects. Stuff I work on is going to go up there, but I prefer not to. And just having the music available for people to have too. I think that's another important thing that's missing right now. We're so used to having things available as long as you have an internet connection. I think having a physical copy of something is valuable, and it's like you own it, and whether or not you paid for it or not, as long as the person who created that is allowing you to own it for free in an instance like this. I think it's a better way to go about things. And then if anything ever happens or you can't go online, you can always just play it from your phone or play it from your computer or anything like that. I wish more people would be doing things of that in that kind of nature. But yeah, and just in general, not even just with Eric Clapton, I think the best thing to do is kind of try your best to ignore the person. Like if you don't agree with somebody's um personal things or personal actions, whether it's, we're talking about Clapton right now, but let's talk about just anybody else. Like there's just, you could say a lot about Jimmy Page, man. Jimmy Page had some really questionable stuff with underage boys. I mean, it is what it is, man. You can't neglect history, but you also can't change how, you know, before you knew any of this stuff, right? Does that change how you feel about some of the music? I mean, if you like a song, you like a song. Does that mean you're just going to never listen to it ever again? I don't know. It's a tightrope, man. It's a tightrope. And I think that there's two camps that you got to be able to fall into here. One is if somebody is doing something like so egregiously like inhumane or just horrible. I mean, that's one thing. But then on the other hand, like if somebody's presenting, their opinion or their view in a respectable way, and they're not demanding that you see it their way and you can agree to disagree on things, I feel like that's healthy. And that's human nature, because we're not all going to agree on everything. And as long as, the things that, you might not agree with an artist or anybody for that matter, it could be your family members, as long as they're falling in this camp and not in this camp, I think you're okay. That's just my personal take on, how to cut things out and, just, I don't know. It's weird, man. It's weird. It's weird. And yes, also the fidelity issues, because I can have max resolution. We can have no issues with compression with Spotify, and they do that too. And that's the other thing with Apple. The last thing I worked on that went to Apple, we did the master for Apple, and it sounded. I have no nice way to say this. It sounded like shit compared to after, because there's just the amount of compression that they put on after the fact, or after it's already gone through a master compressor, and then it goes to Apple. I mean, it's just there's no sonic range at this point. And that's one of those things we could go deep into the whole Sonic Wars and stuff like that, where the music is just getting louder and louder and louder, but the dynamics of the music itself are suffering because of that, because obviously that's what compressors are meant to do. They're meant to squash and kind of have a uniform level depending on how hard you're using the compressor to hit the signal. But I like that. And when I was in school, one thing I did take away from that time in recording school, I'll never forget this. I sat in one of the mastering suites, and they had it had to have been like $100,000 room. And this guy put on a Steely Dan record, and it was sonic bliss. I'd never heard anything like it. The highs were it was everywhere. And then he asked us after, he's like, why does that sound so good? He's like, but this sounds so bad. And he put on a Foo Fighters record right after. I think it was the most recent one at the time. I can't remember what the name of it was, but it was the one that had the Pretender on it. And just the sonic difference. Forget the music itself as far as the quality, whether you like the genres or not, but the sonic and the dynamic difference between a modern record and that Steely Dan. It was like this had like 5 blankets on it compared to the Steely Dan one. And it's incredible. It's incredible how technology is so good, and also can be used for harm in some senses for the overall quality of the music. But at the end of the day, it's about the overall end consumer. And unfortunately, people like us, the people that really get into sounds, really get into specifics of guitar tones and gear and this, that, and the other, we're not the majority. We have to accept that. And, they're always going to be going and catering to the people that are going to be the ones spending the more money. But that's just how the industry is just evolving, and it's nothing new. This has been, 20 years in the making, you know, ever since Pro Tools become really accessible to people. And yeah, just a few artists, or not artists, a few producers really kind of changed everything for everybody. All right, let's catch up here. So, Clapton's racist tirades, yeah. I don't know. I feel like that's another thing. Like, and again, I don't mean to keep bagging on Clapton here, because like I said, I've seen Clapton play live. I like a lot of his music, but the drugs and alcohol argument, that's a tough one. That's a tough one because I don't drink anymore, but I used to drink, and there were plenty of times I didn't do it. Clapton did, but I've said things that I've wished I could take back. I think we all have. I think anybody who's gotten drunk at any point in their life, you've had one too many drinks and all of a sudden the mood goes from happy to a little bit more negative. We've all said things that we wish we could take back. So it's just some of us are in the public eye and some of us aren't. So I don't know how much you can blame that on, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Ugh. Yeah, that's the end of that. I don't want to touch on that anymore. But I just wanted to bring up the fact that that comment really was just like, it read like one of those things that like a Twitter bot would spam on like every political post, and I was just like, I'm like, wow, dude, I'm a guitar YouTube dude. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm not gonna make a video talking about your politics. That's not happening. That's not happening. But the only other thing that's off topic that's kind of been bothering me, speaking of like crappy people, this poor girl, we started to talk about her on the live stream, the girl that dropped out of the Olympics and because of her mental health or whatever. But I mean, we're seeing these grown men who have never competed at anything in their whole lives, and they're just slamming her, calling her a coward, and it's like what kind of like man are you to crap on this girl who's, I mean, she's an Olympic, she won the gold medal, she's one of the best to ever do what she's done. And I guess part of the story that's not being told is she takes Adderall. And if you know anything about Japan, they're really strict on what you're able to take medicinally. Yeah, Simone. Um, so she hasn't been able to take her medication. So you think you have all the pressure of this going on. Your body is reacting to not being able to take medication that you're prescribed legally from a doctor that helps you in kind of like your mental state. I mean, yeah, that's a lot of stress for this girl. And I think anybody who's like gonna go out and make a YouTube video, like just slamming this girl and calling her a coward and just like all this crap, and I hate to see that. I hate to see that. I don't think it's right for people to bring a girl like that down. Well, I don't think it's right to bring anybody down in that manner, especially when it's like a mental health issue. It's so cowardly. What do you guys think about that? It's really sad. And you go to social media and like you see some people, and this is where again I think politics have something to do with this, because people that are on one side of the aisle, I think you're gonna know who I'm getting at here. They're like, yeah, like this whole movement, this is a personification of it, because all talk, I'm the best, I'm this, and then you're a coward at the end of the day. And then like the other ones are like more understanding of like, this girl has mental problems. So what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? The girl, she has to get off her medication. She's got a lot of pressure. I mean, she's in a different time zone. She's in an area where she definitely doesn't speak Japanese. She's not used to the culture. There's a lot going on. And like I said, the only thing that I thought that sucked in that situation, outside of obviously, I feel bad for the girl, the fact that some other girl who worked their ass off could have went. That's the only negative, and I don't blame it on that girl for going and trying to power through it, but that's just a consequence, and that's reality. That's a consequence, because she went and she tried, and then she had to withdraw from all this. It cost another girl who worked her ass off to not be able to have that once in a lifetime opportunity. But anyways, yeah, let's get off the politics. Let's get off of the other stuff. You guys were asking me about the Olympics on the last stream, so I thought I'd give you my little update and my little. I don't think people should be making fun of this poor girl. That sucks. It's not cool. Don't gang up on girls on the internet, especially girls that have done a whole hell of a lot more in your life in their lives than you most likely have. Okay. What would you guys like to hit on before this? I just wanted to talk about the UPS stuff, honestly, and trying to prep for this gig. Let me see. I was reading apparently. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, here's the other thing. Here's the other thing. Well, I was talking. I talk about this sometimes. I get a lot of people. Well, not a lot of people. It's only a few people, if I'm honest, that will say like really negative stuff to me. And I got thick skin. I mean, the only time I got really mad, I made a video once. This was months ago. I actually had to edit out my daughter out of a video because he this guy said some like really mean stuff about her and then about my wife, and I was like, I made a video. I'm like, you want to tell me I'm a bad guitarist or I'm annoying or I talk too much or whatever, like that's fine, I can take it. Like leave my family out of this. Like what the hell did they do to you, you coward? But my point is, on the internet you'll see that. You'll deal with all this. I'll deal with people telling me I suck, whatever. When I go on stage and I play live, I have never had an experience where a stranger has ever said anything bad. Ever. Thousands of gigs over my life. Never. I've had friends that have talked to me and objectively said, oh, like, you missed that, or you were sharp on that. You missed that note, but, you transitioned back, you saved the song. Or it's just like nice improv there at the end because they know how an original arrangement was supposed to go and I might have made a mistake and then kind of saved it afterwards. But in real life, and this is something that is changing a lot again from 20 years ago to now, you never dealt with that. And now, because social media is a big part of a lot of people's real lives, it feels like it is. It's something people have to deal with. But just know that if you're somebody that hasn't gigged or somebody that's planning on gigging, because I've actually, a lot of new people watch this channel. And I find that good because I feel like more people should be learning guitar. But I want to encourage people to think that may think that the internet, where all these people might be mean and telling you suck and this, that, and the other, that's not how it's going to be in real life. And especially if you are new and you go up there and you're like, listen, this is my first gig, like, I'm just working this out, and they know beforehand. First of all, you're not going to be playing a huge show if it's one of your first gigs. That's just not going to happen. You don't just get thrown out to the lions then, unless you're like a rich person's kid or a famous person's kid, which that might be different, but you're not just going to get thrown to the deep end. So people are going to be really understanding. And most normal people, and I'd like to think most people are normal, if they see you and they know you're taking a chance, they can tell you're nervous. They'll be able to tell it's one of your first gigs. They're going to encourage you. And they're going to say, you know what, or you'll be even better next show. It's not like the internet. So if that's one piece of advice that I wish I could give onto new players, that would be it. Don't take what the internet says seriously, because they're not really good people. They're not. And they're not real people, because those are the kinds of people too, they're not paying money to go see the shows because they don't leave the house. They're not doing anything. So just food for thought here. Just food for thought. But I'd love to encourage anybody to go out and play. There's nothing like it. And I miss that feeling. And even when I was drinking and even when I was doing, all sorts of stuff. Because when I was younger, I was a mess. As far as I didn't really care. I would do anything to have fun, and everything was offered to me. If you've ever, toured around the coasts or anything, it's impossible to not be offered some things. And when you're younger, you have no responsibilities, you might indulge a little bit. But there's no high that's as good as when you nail a set. Period. There's nothing like it. Because you stand on the stage and it's like you own that stage. And it doesn't matter if you're playing to 15 people or 500 or 1,000 people. It's the same feeling almost every time. I mean, when you're playing to more people and it happens, obviously it's kind of, it'll resonate with you a little bit longer. But like that initial high of like hitting it, when you can see that like you have people's full attention. They're not just staring at their phones and they're really paying attention to you playing and they're really enjoying it. That's the best feeling in the whole world, man. And you can't buy that. You can't buy that. And all the gear's nice, all of the toys are fun, all the reviews are whatever, and it's just all great. I'm spoiled rotten in that sense, but nothing beats that. Nothing beats that. You can't put a price on it. It's like my fourth cup of coffee. I think I'm immune to caffeine, but I'd rather be drinking this than soda. Soda's not so good. But if there's anything you guys want to hit on real quick, give me a second because I actually have to run to the bathroom. That other coffee just kind of ran through me. So give me 1 sec. I'll be right back. Leave a comment. Let me know what we want to talk about. It's bathroom's right here. I'll be right there. All right. We're back. Oh, I burned my liver out bad, man. When I talked about when I quit drinking, that was I don't know if you've seen that video. I don't know if any of you have seen that video on why I quit drinking and all that stuff. But yeah, I botched it. I botched it. And I was the kind of person that I would never say no to a free drink. And the problem is, especially in this happened a lot in Southern California. Everyone wanted to buy me a drink because I got along with everybody. I had a lot of fun. I'm a very, very personable person when it comes to music. I can talk to you all day, but in other aspects of life, I'm not so much like that. I'm kind of more to myself in a sense. But when I'm out at a gig, I'll talk to anybody. I'll talk about anything. I'll just sit and have a drink with you. We can talk about anything regarding music. So that would lead to me drinking in excess. One point, I was gigging out like 5-6 nights a week and just never taking days off ever, ever. And when you get into that cycle, the only way to make yourself feel better in the morning is, you guessed it, have another drink. So I don't regret it because I'm in good health now, and thankfully I'm no serious permanent real damage as long as I don't ever go back to that lifestyle again. But you live, you learn, you do your lessons. I had my fun, so to speak, and that's it. And I got to be responsible, and I got to make sure that I am around for as long as possible because my kid will need me. She desperately, desperately will need me around. That's just how it is. All kids deserve to have both their parents around for as long as possible. And I am lucky in that sense because both of mine are still around. They're stubborn. They're stubborn old people. They always find something to do. All right. So we are live. We're good on that. Let me just check one thing real quick. All right. Switch. We are looking okay. But we will do, in case there are any questions or anything like that. If not, I'm not just going to keep you guys for the sake of keeping you. I do want to practice. I'm going to film a video today. This is hilarious. I have to do this. I'm going to be making a video, first of all, about the return policy. Second of all, I'm going to be making a video about somebody was asking me, they just sold a guitar and they want to know how to properly ship the guitar. So I'm actually going to do an instructional. It's not going to be the most lively video. I'm going to try to make it as fun as possible, but I'm going to show how to actually properly and safely pack a guitar to ship it, because you'd be amazed how many people don't know how to ship a guitar. I had to stop playing and earn. Yeah, that's the boat I fell into. And then you think what happened with the thing where I was just told all of a sudden you're not allowed to play anymore. And my wife's a bartender. She wasn't allowed to go to work anymore. And we're all at home in a 600 square foot house. Nobody can do anything. We're like, how are we going to make any money? As a recipe for disaster. But we weren't the only ones that went through that. Many people did. So all that matters is we made it out on the other side. That's all you can ever hope for, right? But that being said, I got some practicing to do. I'm gonna film that video. I sold the Harley Benton, the blue one. That's the guitar we're gonna be packing. Yeah, this guy. And I will safely report, this is the last SG I'm ever buying. Period. Ever. Ever. I just don't like these body styles, man. I don't like it. I'm not a fan. So we're going to pack this guitar up. This is going to be one of the examples of the guitars that I pack up is when you use the packaging that it came with, how to actually repackage it correctly. And then I'm going to use my Squier, which I didn't actually sell, but for the sake, because I have to move it in the box to show what happens when you don't secure the neck and it just kind of bounces. I'm going to use that for the other, if you're packaging it yourself with your own packaging and you don't have the original boxing that came with it. But yeah, this guitar is sold, so this will be one of the last times you ever see it. It's a good guitar, I guess, if you like SGs. I hate SGs, so not for me. But with all that being said, I think I'm going to call it because I got some work to do. And as you can hear, the house is very quiet. They got to go to the beach because we didn't get to go to the beach yesterday because of the whole UPS thing. And I didn't get any work done because I didn't want to be filming anything and have the doorbell ring or be interrupted or anything like that. And I had my daughter here too, so nothing got done in that sense either. So yesterday just kind of got washed away. And normally what I like to do is have a video filmed in advance for the day. That way I can upload it at 8 or 9 a.m. Eastern time. Get it out on a somewhat regular basis for you guys. I think it's better to do it that way and go from there. But I had nothing for today, so I figured why not just jump on a live stream real quick, explain what's going on, what happened yesterday, and, I guess we talked about some other stuff too. But I guess thanks for checking it out, and I'll see you tomorrow. I don't know what we're going to be doing, which video it'll be tomorrow, but should be something interesting. And yeah, maybe we'll have something short for later today for an actual upload. But I do appreciate all you guys, especially all of you. James is the only one here from America. The rest of you are all from Europe. And I appreciate that. I think what time is it there? About 6 p.m.? Right about dinner time. So thanks for checking out and spending your time right before you eat with me and with the rest of us. And I'll see you guys tomorrow, and we'll have another live stream on Thursday. So think about in advance if you anything you want to talk about or any questions you have. Because I think it's more fun to answer stuff like that on the spot as well. But I'm going to get going. So take it easy, you guys.